On today's video, we're going to talk about right front wheel load, where it comes from, how we generate it, and what we do with it when it gets here. It's going to be a short video, but it's going to be a good one, and I think this will be one you'll really be interested in. So stay tuned. More on that when we get back. Right front wheel load. Where does it come from? What is it? We hear all this talk about adding load, taking load away. What's your load number? What should my load number be? What's a good load number for the right front? We hear it all the time. And there isn't one. There isn't a good load number for you or your car. There is, but I can't give it to you. Now, we can create it, we can generate it, we can build it, but we just can't pop a number out of our head and say, here it is. You know, if your load sticking, you know, it's 1250, it's 1450. If you're pulling down, it's 1,000. You know, we just can't throw them numbers out there because every single car and every single driver is going to be different. The load number is going to vary. This is why having the car preparated, having preparations for the car, having the car 100% bind free is so important. It's massively important that these cars move weight all the time. So if you don't know what I mean, it's, you know, it's rod ends, it's bird cages, it's, you know, it's control arm bushings if you're a metric car. It's springs, it's spring height, it's weight placement. If you're running a car with no lead, what are you giving up? You know, you're giving up a ton. And you can't afford to give up traction as the car slicks off, as the track slicks off. You can't afford it. You can't afford it. So what is wheel load? Well, we always look at wheel load as this magical number that the spring creates on the right front. So based on spring load. So guys put their load sticks on, they pull the car down to a 3-inch number and they say, I have 1450. But the question is, do you ever get to 1450? Does your car see 1450? Are you monitoring the height of your car to guarantee that you're at this 1450 number? Or are you just pulling it down in the shop and saying, I'm at 1250? The number means nothing unless the car sees it first. So the first question I ask, and the only question, is this: how fast is your fastball? How fast are you throwing your fastball? If you don't understand that question, you don't understand right front load. So let's dig into it a little bit. What is right front load? Right front load is dictated by several things. Speed of the racetrack. Are you currently monitoring the speed of the racetrack from heat race to feature? Weekly. How much does your track slow down? How much does your travel change? If you are looking at it in 1/4-inch increments, seconds on the track, you're missing the big picture of right front load. Right front load's going to change 3/10 at a time. That's the track changing. Okay, does your track turn out slick, but slick with grip? Or is it grip with grip? Or is it slick slick? What level does your track have? We race, I believe, weekly 90% of the time on slick with grip. That track has grip in it, okay? And that grip allows us to do some things. It allows us to maintain our speed. We're losing somewhere between a half second and maybe 1.2 seconds per lap, depending on the racetrack. And that does kind of fall into a track that still has grip. We can manipulate our cars to do things, and they do them pretty good on a slick track. So how fast is your fastball? The speed of your car, the center of gravity in your car, and the way it transfers that weight around center of gravity is going to be 100% what dictates right front wheel load. Okay, as I move this right front up and down, add load, as I move this up and down, which us old timers called ride height, but now we call it load. As I move it up, I accept that load from the rear of the car to the front of the car. I'm accepting that load sooner because I have a bigger number. I have a higher height in the right front. So when this load comes, it sees it here first. What is the old saying? The big spring sees the load. Why is that? Because that's where it's going. If you got no load up here or no number up here, when you produce the load to the right front, and you say, well, I can't feel my car getting on the right front, it's because you're on a 400, 350 pound spring. There's no number there. Okay, you can pull it or load stick it all day long, but that's not going to tell you, it's not telling you anything. It's still not working. It's still not working because there's not enough load on that tire to make it work. How fast is your fastball? Every pitcher in the major leagues throws a fastball, but according to us, they're all the same. One guy can get in this car and he can say it's super tight. Another guy can get in it and say it's super loose. And it's all because of the speed that they're producing, that they're introducing to the center of gravity. So when the center of gravity sees this speed, it transfers load to the front or to the right rear. There are things that we do that can hurt our load transfer. No weight too low in the car, the center of gravity too low in the car. We need, in this type of racing, our load, our center of gravity, our weight to be a little high in the car so it will move. Our center of gravity could be a little lower in the car. We need the weight to move over it. Our roll center in the rear, we need it to move over it. And what's going to help move it? Speed. So naturally, as the track slows down, the car's ability to load the right front tire is going to decrease. It's going to go down. So doing things like lowering the right front is one of you guys' go-to moves. Okay? And sometimes it works because there's still moisture in the racetrack to allow it to work. When there's not moisture in the racetrack, this will not work. We need to start looking at our car a little different with, in compliance between the left rear and the right front. We'll look at this as a vertical triangle. It goes up in the left rear, the thrust angle across the top, down to the right front, that's the thrust angle. Back to the left rear, that's your vertical triangle. Then there's going to be a horizontal triangle. And that weight's going to go left rear, right front, or left rear, left front, right front. We want it to be left rear, right front. That's our horizontal triangle. And if we're not careful, we can lose that, or it can change on us multiple times in one corner. So when you're really having feel issues with your car, or you're saying like it's hooked up, it's not hooked up, it's hooked up, it's because the load is leaving the right rear and our Horizontal plane is switching from right rear to left front. Okay, so there are the things we need to work on. If our speed in our car didn't slow down, then our right front would work the same all night long. Okay, our speed slows down because our overall grip slows down. And as our overall grip slows down, then the weight transfer through the car gets smaller and everything works less. This is why they say you got to drive it like you stole it. You got to drive the crap out of it. Okay? You got to drive it hard. This is why they say that. But a lot of us, we just don't want to drive it that hard in the slick. Something in our mind tells us, slow down. You're putting us in danger. Whether you hear that voice in your head or not, I don't know. But it's happening and you're slowing down. Your mind's saying, this is a speed that we can travel that's safe for this type of conditions. But there's other guys out there that can propel past that. So how do we get around it? We trick the car. If we can make the car think that we are, or that it has as much grip in it as it had when it was on a more grippier racetrack, then it'll perform. That's why I always say 9 times out of 10, it's not the car, it's the driver. Because when the driver gets pissed off, something happens, I got run over, and now I'm mad. I forgot about what my car feels like, and my mind went to revenge, and my car handles wonderful because I'm driving it harder. I'm loading it harder. I'm 9th inning, and my fastball has picked up. There's no way that that fastball is the same speed in the 9th inning as it is in the 1st inning. In the slick, we must produce the load transfer to the right front, just like we did in the moisture. So if we're getting 3.5 inches, 2 inches, we need to stay within an 1/8 inch of that, and we need to monitor it super active, super accurate. We can't be an 1/8 inch off. We can't be a 1/4 inch off on the right rear load, because that little bit will lose the right rear tire. We need to know exactly where that's at, and it's very difficult because we ain't got data. But we got to create our own data. We got to create our own data, and that data is travel indicators. Buy a good travel indicator, spend the money on it, build it, do whatever you need to do to get accurate. We're using the magic marker, okay? And it works okay, but it ain't perfect. Nothing's going to be perfect until we get data on a car. That's the only thing that's going to tell us real numbers. It's just the way it is. But we can do all we can do and do it very well to get the numbers we need. So let's start there. Let's start monitoring right rear. Note the speed of the racetrack. Take screenshots of your my lap times, heat race, features. Have somebody time it. It's very important you know what your lap times are so you know how the track slowed down. And don't get frustrated because after 3 weeks of doing it, you don't have any data yet. You're going to have to do this most of the year. And then you're going to start looking back. And you're going to look at your notes and you're going to say, we had a fast track. Here's the times for what was a fast track. We had a slower track. Here's the times. Here's the travels. Okay, now I'm starting to see that pattern. And I can start to relate in my head, you know, how much are we giving up? How many G-forces are we giving up as the track slicks off? How much is it slowing down? It is a half second, 3/4 of a second, a second. We need to know every track's going to be different. Every race car driver is going to be different. So this is a personal thing that you do, okay? If the load isn't enough to make the car turn, then we'll have to do the things to increase the load. We'll have to add the weight to the car. We'll have to manipulate the springs. We'll have to do what it takes to get the car to perform at the level it needs to perform at. Okay? Soft springs is not always the answer. Lowering the car down till it bottoms out on the racetrack isn't the answer. It's the easy fix. It's the easy fix. And we've done it too long. We're done with it. We were done with it 2 years ago. But a lot of people wouldn't listen. They wanted to be low. They wanted to hit the racetrack. They thought they needed to hit the racetrack. If you're racing that type of car, and we have, but if you're racing that type of car, it's tight car. Fix it. Fix it. Free it up. There's plenty of information here. Free it up. Do yourself a favor. But ask yourself this question: how fast is my fastball? And can I throw that as fast in the first inning as I do in the ninth inning? And if the answer is yes, and you know what? Some parts of the country, the answer is yes. But for most of us, that answer is no. Understand the speed of your car. Understand how fast my car is with me driving it. Okay? Get all the bind out of the car you can, because it's only going to hurt you later. Make your car consistent. Make your car favorable for your outcome. Okay, guys? I said we're not going to get deep. I mean, we're going to get deep. It's just not going to be long. This is the speed of a fastball. This is the speed of our car. And the speed of our car and the grip on the racetrack dictates right front load. That's what it is. All right, guys? So comment out of it. Let us know what you think. Okay? I apologize for being gone. We got a lot to work to do. We got parameters that we are shooting for 2026. Things we need to understand better. So I'm going to try to do all the videos I can. They may not be as pretty. The lighting, the sound, the background, they may not be as pretty as they once was, but it's information that I'm getting to you. I'm trying to get information to you guys so we can better learn these cars and we can be faster. So as always, go fast, go left. God bless you, and we'll see you the next time.